Michelle Obama grew up in the south side of Chicago, in what she describes as a, quote, starting to die neighborhood, but one that was also filled with music and vibrancy, from colorful relatives to exacting piano teachers.
And that's where we lived upstairs. Robbie and Terry lived downstairs. That was my bedroom. So you see the 4 windows, but I walk in there and I think, my God, how 4 people lived a full life in that little bitty space up there.
Yet she was able to take advantage of what she had, primarily through educational opportunities. Michelle Obama was a child who loved school and managed to build high ambitions for herself in school. Climbing upward on the ladder of available education, she tested into an up-and-coming magnet high school and eventually pursued an Ivy League secondary education. Her family was a driving force behind her ambitions, as from a young age her parents encouraged her to be confident, independent, and curious, and supported her hopes and dreams.
I start with that part of my story. I don't start with Princeton and Harvard and First Lady. I start with the fact that I am a product of the South Side of Chicago, which makes me special.
By the end of her high school career, defying what others said was impossible, Michelle Obama committed to Princeton University. At Princeton, Michelle was faced with a huge shift in environment and community. The population of Princeton was overwhelmingly white, wealthy, and privileged. In the face of this, Michelle was able both to fit in and to stand out, embracing her roots. She affirms in her autobiography that she, quote, belonged in Princeton as much as anybody. During her time in Princeton and then at Harvard for grad school, Michelle also began to explore through organizations around her a passion for social work that would linger throughout her life. Fresh out of Harvard Law School, Michelle Obama would take a high-profile job at a law firm in Chicago. Here, she mainly focused on copyright law. She soon began to realize that she needed a change, a difficult decision to make when she had already found stability in her current job. A leap of faith would be needed. Her experiences at Princeton had shown her that she felt fulfilled when doing work that directly helped people. Exploring her options, she landed on a job at the Chicago mayor's office. Throughout her life, local government had had an impact on her. Her father was an organizer for the local Democratic Party, and her best friend's father was an influential activist and politician. This role provided her a sense of purpose and allowed her to focus on understanding herself and making changes to achieve that.
During this time, she met and eventually married Barack Obama, whose own drive for school change inspired and motivated her. When the two had children, Sasha and Malia, Michelle found yet another reason to adapt and grow. With a need that every new parent has to restructure certain parts of your life, changing to accommodate parenthood, Michelle struggled at times with this shift in her personal journey, finding it difficult to take approach to parts of her life that used to be full-time commitments. Yet, as always, Michelle overcome the turbulence of change, again becoming a new version of herself and embracing her beloved family. This family would again force her to adapt as Barack began to enter into politics, putting stresses on their family. Being independent and hardworking, Michelle was able to adapt and balance taking care of her children while supporting Barack in his endeavors to make change. When Barack first entered politics, Michelle felt uncertain about stepping into the world of campaigning. Public life was not something she had imposed for herself, and she worried about how it might affect her family and her own ambitions. Campaigning felt foreign and daunting, and she approached it with hesitation. However, as she accompanied Barack on the trail, Michelle began to see the impact of her work. She was struck by how much people cared, not just about Barack, but about the hope and change he represented for the country. This realization was a turning point for her, shifting her perspective on the role she could play. At first, Michelle's involvement in his Senate races was cautious and limited, but by the time of the presidential campaign, her hesitancy gave way to full commitment. She stepped into an active role, giving speeches, hiring staff, and campaigning the campaign's vision. The shift reflected her growing belief in the mission and her confidence in making a difference. During her time as a First Lady, Michelle Obama used her platform to campaign initiatives that reflected her passion for improving lives. She launched efforts like planting the White House garden to promote healthy eating, advocating for education reform to support children, leading initiatives to improve healthcare, and providing increased support for military families. These projects showcased her dedication to addressing key issues in a tangible and impactful way. As Michelle took on the role of a First Lady, she experienced significant personal growth, initially uncertain about her place in the White House and whether she truly belonged in such a promoted position. She gradually gained a confidence in her abilities and in the value of her contributions. This confidence also extended to her belief in Baraka's leadership and their shared mission to create meaningful change. By embracing her role and focusing on making a difference, Michelle grew into a powerful and inspiring figure for people across the nation.